It's that time of the year again. It's time for my top 10 favorite winter fragrances, Niche Edition 2018-2019. Are you ready? Let's do it. What is up, Frag fam? In today's video, we're going to be talking about my top 10 fragrances that I'm going to be wearing the next couple of months. My top 10 favorite winter fragrances, Niche Edition. I live in New England where the winters are really harsh. We're talking about 20s, 30s. You know, in the past couple of days, it's been in the 20s. Wind chill factor is like really cold. You know, if you look at Celsius, it's even, we're talking about negative temperature. So it's really cold. I need some really strong, bold, you know, potent, powerful, long-lasting fragrances to get me through the winter. So without any further ado, let's hop right into it. At the 10th spot, we have a fragrance from the house of Tiziana Terenzi, Italian fragrance house. This one's called L'Denaro. If you like a boozy, cognac, ambery kind of scent, this here's just to die for. It's an amazing scent. Lasts a long time on my skin. This is actually a vintage bottle. I think it's like first year release of L'Denaro, but it still performs beastly. You know, it's a great performing scent. It's definitely a traffic stopper. It smells just amazing. If you like Black Afgano from Mahalo, it has a very similar resemblance to it, minus the cannabis note. So if you wanted something a little bit more wearable, a little creamier, a little softer, definitely check this one out. But when I mean softer compared to Black Afgano, this one here, still beastly. At the 10th spot, a great winter fragrance, one of my top favorites of all time, L'Denaro from Italian house Tiziana Terenzi. This next one here is from Mahalo, that's gotten a ton of limelight in the fragrance community last year. Of course, this is Niché Parfums Marley. This one here is Rehab at the number 9 spot. Rehab is a fragrance along with Blas Baraka that I did review for you guys on this channel. You guys can check out both reviews. This one here is a little bit more wearable, not as pungent as Blas Baraka. I love both. These two are my favorites, along with Side Effect, which is also amazing. But this one here has a really nice cinnamon, ambery, peppery kind of undertone. Reminds me of Spice Bomb, but it's a lot better constructed, a lot more smoother, much better blend altogether, and it lasts a long time on my skin. So it's definitely one that I love. If you love cinnamon and amber, this is definitely one that you want to check out. I have a little bit of a tobacco feel here. It's not listed as a note, but it does give me a little bit of a tobacco feel, just like when I get with Spice Bomb. But like I said, much better blended, longer lasting, and it's definitely a great one for fall and winter, one that lasts a long time and definitely helps me break through the really cold days like today. So definitely check this one out. Niché Parfums Marley, this one's Rehab. Little side note before I continue with the countdown, Rehab is one that ladies do enjoy. I get a ton of positive notes here with Rehab from the opposite sex, so check this one out. At the 8th spot, this is a fragrance that I solely wear only in the winter time. This is the only time of the year that I actually pull this off. This is the blue beast of the fragrance community. Of course, we're talking about the House of Amouage from Oman. This is Interlude, man. Again, the blue beast. This stuff is amazing. Cobalt blue bottle, beautiful bottle, great composition, opulent, resinous, really deep, dark, bold, brash. In the dead of winter, this stuff here is a superstar in my collection. Starts off with this really bold and crazy oregano note, but it blends in perfectly with the resinous frankincense here. It makes it for a superstar in the winter. This one here cuts through the coldest of days. I love it, especially in snow days. It just smells fantastic, dries down really beautifully, really opulent, and really another traffic stopper, head turner right here. I always get questions of what are you wearing, what's that smell? It's one of those scents. Not for everyone, not for the faint of heart, but if you like something really dark, bold, brash, definitely check this one out. One of my favorites from the House of Amouage. Definitely sitting on my top, you know, 5 Amouage fragrances of all time. Amouage Interlude, man, at the number 8th spot. A newcomer to my list this year has actually turned out to be one of my favorites from this house, and it's a very underrated house at that. Not many people talking about the house of 8 and Bob. I love the fragrance house. They have such creative juices. This is a great oriental spicy fragrance. This one's called Egypt. Egypt here at number 7 is one of my favorites. It's turning out to be one of my favorites this winter. I've actually been wearing this a lot. What it does reminds me, when you first spray this fragrance on, it's going to give you like a Bel Ami kind of feel. It's got leather, spices, a ton of patchouli. It's a great scent for this time of the year. If you like oriental, woody, spicy fragrance, this is a must try. It starts off like a Bel Ami meets Dior's Mid-Sa from the Privé collection. And then it dries down to this, you know, Royal Night / Dolce & Gabbana The One, creamier, smoother, a lot better blend. Just a great scent. If you like all the fragrances I mentioned above, you're going to absolutely fall in love with this one. I know I have, and I've been wearing this a lot this year. Totally forgot I had this fragrance. Revisited this year, and I'm glad I did. 8 Bob Egypt, a great scent for the winter. One of my favorites at the number 7 spot. As some of you may or may not know, I'm not big into oud. Oud is a fragrance note that I have a hard time wearing, especially if it's medicinal. I tend to gravitate away from oud fragrances, but this one here is done to perfection. If I'm looking to get a very smooth showstopper kind of oud, this is the smoothest kind of oud you can possibly procure. I'm telling you right now, this particular house has really won me over the past year and a half or so. I'm getting everything from this brand, and this one here is no different. One of my favorite ouds of all time. If I did a top 10 ouds of all time, this would probably sit in the top 3 for sure. This is Oud Smooth. Of course, I'm talking about Oud Satin Mood. If you in the oud spirit, you want something that's very well blended and smooth, this stuff here is just to die for. It has a couple different roses up top with, of course, the oud note, but it has kind of like a gourmand dry down to it. You have this vanilla tonka kind of combination, just smells amazing. This is a total seductive elixir. Definitely going to make my top Valentine's Day this year an amazing. The dark juice, look at the color of this juice. Heavily concentrated. It's going to last the whole day. If you spray your clothes, it'll be there for a couple days, trust me. So Mason Francis Kurkdjian Oud Satin Mood at the 6th spot in this top winter niche edition. At the 5th spot is a fragrance that needs absolutely no introduction on this channel. I spoke numerous times immensely about this fragrance. This is Chanel Coromandel. This is the EDT, of course. You have the EDP available nowadays. The only difference is going to be in performance. You're going to get a little less performance, but still that amazing patchouli and white chocolate combination that is to die for is going to be present. Another one that's a very high contender to make my top 10 Valentine's Day this year, one of my top complimented fragrances of all time. This is Coromandel from Chanel at the 5th spot. I've been wearing this heavily, and I'm definitely going to get another bottle in another few months or so. If I continue to wear this as much as I have, I'm definitely going to probably have to get a bottle at the end of winter. But definitely check this one out if you haven't. This one here is to die for. Chanel's Coromandel at the 5th spot. At the 4th spot, this fragrance is arguably Maurice Roussel's best work. Of course, I'm talking about the infamous, very talked about in the fragrance community over the past 10 plus years, of course, Musc Ravageur. I love this fragrance. This is lavender. It starts off big and bold with that cinnamon and clove kind of combination. The cloves can be a little bit off-putting, not for everyone. However, you wait 35-40 minutes, the magic begins. It's going to give you that vanilla, resinous, opulent kind of a Cinnabon dry down that is just to die for. An absolutely must in my collection. One of my favorite niche fragrances of all time. On my 10 for life video, it definitely made the list, and this is a fragrance that I could not live without. I have the current formulation as well. They are very similar. The juice is kind of like the same color. The only difference here is going to be in the projection and performance as far as longevity as well. You're going to get a little bit less with the current formulation, but it's still beastly. It's still one that you have to watch out for the sprays. With the old formulation, I do 2 sprays. With the new formulation, I do about 2, 3. It's still one fragrance that's going to last the whole day and really project. You have to be careful, especially. This is the kind of fragrance that I usually spray myself a half an hour, 40 minutes before I leave the house, because the initial spray, it is very, very strong. It's monstrous projection, and you're going to choke people out if you overspray with this one. But it's a phenomenal fragrance. If you have the patience, this stuff here is blended to perfection. One of my favorites of all time at the 4th spot, Musc Ravageur from Frederic Malle. So this is a classic case of what happens when you have way too many fragrances and you forget about some of these great gems that you possess. This fragrance is one of the first niche fragrances I purchased when I first started to dive into niche fragrances, so it has a special place in my heart. This one here from the house of Tower Perfumes, of course, L'Arc du Désert Marocain. A beautiful, beautiful fragrance. This stuff here is stellar to me, just nothing short of a great masterpiece. Love the bottle design, love the color, the juice itself. It's just, it's a masterpiece. I mean, I smell this, it immediately takes me back to 2010, 2011 when I was getting into niche. This stuff here is one of my favorite niches of all time because they have that connection with the beginning. This was like a segue, an entry for me for niche fragrance. And this is something that I always suggest people, when they're starting to get into niche. This is a fragrance that's really going to put everything into prospect. What a niche fragrance should be like. The quality is here, the blend is unique, it's exotic. It's got such elements in here that makes for a great masterpiece. It lasts a long time. Forget about performance here, we're talking about the actual juice. This stuff here is amazing. Spices, patchouli, vetiver. The vetiver here is to die for. You guys know how much I love vetiver. This is a work of art, but nothing short of a masterpiece. At the 3rd spot, I'm glad I revisited this fragrance. I actually wore a lot of this fragrance. I was about halfway done. So I've had this for almost 10 years, and I'm so glad to have revisited this and how much I love this fragrance. This has come back to my rotation this year, and I'm glad it has. This is something that you definitely have to check out. After this, at Mahalo, one of my favorite niche fragrances of all time, at the 3rd spot this winter, Niche 2018. Now, if you follow the channel, you know how much I appreciate this fragrance. It's one of my favorite boozy tobacco scents of all time. It's got that cognac vibe with the tobacco. It starts off like a Coca-Cola kind of thing. If you guys follow me, you know exactly what this is. Definitely one of my favorites from this house. And this is a house that's symbol with quality, you know, fine blends, amazing, top-notch, very exotic and exquisite releases. This one here is called Enigma from Parfums. Just an absolutely outstanding, incredible fragrance. I love this fragrance. You know, I've wore a lot of this shoes. This is actually signed by the man himself. He actually signed this for me. I met him a couple of times, as you guys saw the interview here on this channel. Love what he does with his blends. Love how he puts things together. He takes, you know, very quality ingredients, but he takes a lot of the traditional classic scents and he makes these modern masterpiece, modern day classic masterpieces, just like Enigma. This stuff here is just unbelievably good. One of my favorites. You get that cognac, tobacco, boozy accord up top, but it develops into this really gourmand vanilla and cinnamon kind of a dry down. This fragrance is like 3 different facets. It's spicy, woody tobacco in the middle, but then it dries down to this creamy sandalwood, vanilla, and cinnamon kind of a dry down on my skin that is just absolutely stunning. My wife loves this fragrance on me. I always get positive remarks with this fragrance. And when it comes to the dead of winter, this is definitely one of my go-tos for dresser occasions. Parfums, Enigma at the 2nd spot. Are you ready for the number 1 spot? Please give me a drum roll. This particular fragrance is honey, tonka, vanilla, and cinnamon. Those are the main ingredients here, and if you like those notes, they're going to be very prominent in your face. Think of apple pie a la mode, apple pie with the vanilla on top, some cinnamon drizzle, a little bit of caramel. This stuff is just incredible. If you have a sweet tooth, this is your cure. This is Guerlain from the house of Parfums Marley. A lot of people compare this to Amber Narguilé from Hermescence. I see the resemblance, however, this stuff here takes it to the next level for me. I love it so much. I have 2 bottles. One stays in the office, one stays at my house. I wear this all throughout the year. For the next couple of months is really where I really get into this fragrance. You know, January, February, and early March, I really go crazy with this fragrance. It's like my daily wear. You know, that's why it's number 1, just because I wear it so much and I love it so much. You know, the performance is amazing. The kind of reactions that I get with this fragrance is amazing. People want to know what I'm wearing, where can they get it. It's just a superstar for me in the winter time. Guerlain has been on my top 3 fragrances for winter, I think, for the past 3 years. And it's going to probably continue to stay in my top 3, top 5 because I love it so much. So at number 1 this year, Parfums Marley, Guerlain. If you haven't gotten your nose on this one, do yourself a favor. This is winter perfection. If you have a sweet tooth, and if you like the ingredients I talked about, this is one that you ought to check out for sure. There you have it. Those are my 10 top choices that I'm going to be rocking this winter niche edition. If there's any of these fragrances that you guys would like to try, if something here piqued your interest, I always tell you guys about this amazing. This is my go-to place. It's been my go-to place for the past couple of years. That's why I partnered with them. I'm glad to share them with you guys. Of course, myfragrancesamples.com for new releases, top-notch quality, high-end fragrances just like the ones you saw here, and then some. They have 700 plus fragrances in their portfolio right now. Go check out the site. The owner is amazing. I know him personally. He's just a phenomenal guy, Mark Mobley. Fast shipping, free samples, amazing customer service, selection, just one of the best out there when it comes to sampling and decants. So do yourselves a favor. Coupon code is MAX15, 15% off at checkout. Everything is going to be linked down below. Enjoy. One more thing, if you haven't yet, do yourselves a favor and check out the link below to the Emporium of Scents Facebook group. It's my Facebook group, fragrance related of course, that I use to bridge the gap with you guys, the viewers, and a lot more people that I don't get to talk to, people that don't comment on the videos. I normally talk to them over there, and you're talking about sales, swaps, giveaways, discount codes, anything and everything fragrance happening 24/7 at the Emporium of Scents. The link down below. I will talk to you there. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay fragrant, and of course, I will catch you in the next one.